Hello class! The purpose of these lecture slides is to kind of give you a better understanding about what I refer to as paragraph development. So in your essays, sorry, my nephew is trying to learn Spanish on Duolingo. I apologize for that if you heard it in the background. So the purpose of this slide is to help you understand what I refer to as paragraph development in your essays. So you might have already gotten a chance to review my comments on your essays, and at some point I might have said, you need to develop your topic sentence a little bit more, this paragraph needs more unity, those ideas lack a little bit of coherence, and overall the paragraph needs more development. This slideshow will give you an idea of what I mean by those types, what I mean by that terminology, and it'll help you better develop your essays as you write. So, as far as topic sentences, I think this one's pretty straightforward. The topic sentences are, or describe what the paragraph will be about, such that the reader has clear expectations about what to follow. An effective topic sentence typically contains only one main idea. So, for example, the remainder of the paragraph then develops that idea more fully, offering supporting points and examples. So what the rest of the paragraph does is just really elaborates on that topic sentence. After reading a topic sentence, one should be able to anticipate the type of information contained in the rest of the paragraph. So if, for some reason or another, you read a paragraph and you feel that the last half is really disjointed from the rest, it might be because the writer failed to provide a clear topic sentence, or the writer accidentally went off topic. So if the remainder of the paragraph does not fulfill the promise of the topic sentence, the paragraph will lack unity, coherence, and adequate development. So here are a couple of examples. The first example of a topic sentence is, the cockroaches that inhabit many city apartments and homes are parasites that are almost impossible to exterminate completely. Notice that this sentence clearly identifies the key topic of the paragraph is cockroaches. It also indicates what the remainder of the paragraph will discuss, the difficulty of exterminating cockroaches. Not just cockroaches on their own, but the difficulty to get rid of them. The reader then can expect the rest of the paragraph to explain how and why cockroaches are terribly difficult to eliminate. Another topic sentence is, many television cartoons contain an unhealthy amount of violence. Notice that this sentence clearly identifies that the key topic of the paragraph is violence in television cartoons. It also indicates the remainder of the paragraph will discuss how much violence cartoons typically contain, and how and why this violence is unhealthy to viewers. So, as a whole, this paragraph will focus on particularly three things: television cartoons, violence, and the unhealthy amount of violence. Unity. Unity refers to the extent to which all of the ideas contained within a given paragraph hang together in a way that is easy for the reader to understand. When the writer changes to a new idea, one which is not consistent with the topic sentence of the paragraph, the writer should begin a new paragraph. Unity is important because it aids the reader in following along with the writer's ideas. The reader can expect that a given paragraph will deal only with one main topic. When a new paragraph begins, this signals that the writer is moving on to a new topic. So consider the following example. Note that there are two main ideas presented in this paragraph. The topic sentence indicates that the paragraph will deal with the subject of employees' attitudes, but the paragraph shifts unexpectedly to the manager's attitudes. To achieve unity in this paragraph, the writer should begin a new paragraph when the switch is made from employees to managers. Here's the example. Employees' attitudes at Johnstone Electric Company should be improved. The workers do not feel that they are a working team instead of just individuals. If people felt that they were part of a team, they would not misuse the tools or deliberately undermine the work of others. Management's attitude towards its employees should also be improved. Managers at Johnstone Electric act as though their employees are incapable of making decisions or doing work on their own. Managers treat workers like objects and not human beings. So, although this is a paragraph that clearly stays on topic in the sense that it's discussing the issues at Johnston Electric Company, it's not really unified, because the first half talks about the employees while the second half talks about the managers. So in your own writing, you have to really look at what information you're putting in your body paragraphs and make sure that they're unified, that it's one specific topic. Coherence. Coherence refers to the extent to which the flow of ideas in a paragraph is easily understood by the reader. For this reason, coherence is closely related to unity. When a writer changes main ideas or topics within a paragraph, confusion often results. To achieve coherence, then, a writer should show how all of the ideas contained in a paragraph are relevant to the main topic. Let's look at some examples. Consider the example below. In this paragraph, the writer begins with the topic of job skills courses, but veers off onto the topic of algebra and history before returning to the subject of courses on employment. As a result, the paragraph is disjointed and difficult to understand. Schools should offer courses to help students with problems of unemployment. Such a course might begin with a discussion of where to find employment, then cover resume writing and interviewing. Algebra and history don't help students with real-world needs. They are required courses that students aren't interested in, and this is frustrating for students who would rather learn about other subjects. If schools offered job skills courses, students would be well prepared for the difficult task of finding a job once they finish school. So although this paragraph seems like it is on topic, the sentence that discusses the algebra and history class doesn't quite fit in because the writer failed to create a clear transition. So usually when a paragraph lacks coherence, it's because the writer forgot to add transitions that clearly explain how the ideas blend together. So here, I think the writer is trying to make a good point about how some algebra and history classes are really not relevant to their job skills or the skills they're going to need for their future jobs. But maybe adding another couple sentences or so would have made these ideas more joined in together. So one thing to remember is to create transitions between your ideas so that your paragraphs are coherent. Development. A paragraph is adequately developed when it describes, explains, and supports the topic sentence. If the promise of the topic sentence is not fulfilled, or the reader is left with questions after reading the paragraph has not been adequately developed. Generally speaking, a paragraph which consists of only 2 or 3 sentences is underdeveloped. A good rule of thumb to follow is to make sure that a paragraph contains at least 4 sentences which explain and elaborate on a topic sentence. One thing to note about this rule of thumb is that the 3 or 4 sentences that you provide to explain or elaborate do not consist of outside sources. So if you're paraphrasing or quoting, make sure that you're still adding more ideas and explanations on top of those quotes and paraphrases. Let's consider the following example. The topic sentence promises to discuss several points of comparison and contrast between leadership and management, but the remainder of the paragraph falls short in fulfilling this promise. Only one point of comparison is raised, and this point is left unexplained. Several questions remain unanswered. How are leaders different from managers? In what specific ways are the two alike? Why must a manager be a good leader to be effective? Why must good leaders know how to manage people effectively? To achieve adequate development in this paragraph, these questions should be addressed. Take the following example. The topics of leadership and management are both similar to and different from one another in several important ways. To be effective, a manager should be a good leader, and good leaders know how to manage people effectively. This returns us to those questions. After reading this paragraph, the readers are asking themselves, okay, what is a different manager? What does it mean to be a good leader? How do you manage people effectively? There are way too many questions unanswered in this paragraph, and as a writer, you have to anticipate what your readers are going to need to know to fully understand what you're referring to. So make sure that you are clearly developing your paragraphs by providing examples, explanations, and support to your topic sentences and the supporting evidence you're including in that paragraph. So, in the next essay, what do you need to make sure your paragraph has? Each body paragraph should have a topic sentence that really defines the paragraph, a unified sentences that clearly support one topic, ideas that show coherence and connections, and developed examples and explanations. If you have any questions regarding these slides, please post on the course discussion board or email me directly.